Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning into today's video. We have more gaming and PlayStation news, rumours and leaks to go over. A huge shout out to the God of War and Uncharted channel members. Thank you for your support. And if you're new here to the channel, consider subscribing and becoming a channel member and get yourself some exclusive member perks. Right then, Ubisoft has just rolled out patch 1.02 for Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's just shy of 12 gigabytes, coming in at 11.6 gigabytes. And for those playing on the PS5 Pro, this is one big deal. Not only does it improve the overall performance, but it also introduces a bunch of quality of life features, visual upgrades, gameplay improvements, and much needed bug fixes based on community feedback. Now, Assassin's Creed Shadows, for those that haven't played it, is so far fantastic. And it looks pretty good. But this update is going to make it look even better. If you want a full breakdown of what this upgrade includes, I have got a link down in the description, but I'll go through some of the core upgrade changes via this patch. So for players on the PS5 Pro, this patch brings support for Sony's new PSSR tech, which basically enhances image quality without sacrificing the performance. To get this working, players who've already been playing on the PS5 Pro will need to go into the video settings from the pause menu and enable it manually. The balanced graphics mode also gets an upgrade. Now, it includes ray traced reflections, meaning visual quality in the mode is a lot closer to what you'd see in high-end quality mode, but with a smoother frame rate closer to the performance mode. So smoother visuals without too much of a trade-off in clarity. Ubisoft has brought back a fan favorite auto follow feature. Now, when you're riding your horse, you can enable the Pathfinder and your mount will automatically follow the road to your marked destination. It makes long travel feel less like a chore and more cinematic. On top of that, horses now move faster in city areas, helping you to get around more quickly. And for players who love experimenting with builds and playstyles, there's now an option to reset mastery nodes in the skill tree set. Whether you're trying to make Naoi stealthier or Yasuke into an even more powerful force, you can now test out these new strategies without starting over. Inventory management also has got a lot easier. You can now tag multiple items to sell or dismantle in shops or at the forge in your hideout. This is a huge time saver, especially for those players who hoard gear. A handy shortcut has also been added for the investigation board, just holding the options button for a few seconds to jump straight into it, and a quick tap will bring up your inventory. These little touches make the overall experience feel much more seamless. And Ubisoft has been fine-tuning the way characters behave during the fights. Boss battles have been rebalanced to feel more fair and immersive. Both Yasuke and Naoi now respond better during certain sequences, and abilities like double assassination and Yasuke's ranged attacks have been polished for better accuracy and consistency. Some key highlights to point out: Yasuke's Teppo, which is his firearm, has improved accuracy. Knockout enemies no longer immediately stand up when being attacked. Thank God for that. That was a good one to improve. Yasuke can now call his horse during combat, even with his sword drawn. And several assassination and stealth bugs have also been fixed, like NPCs not dying when they should or reacting unrealistically. Abilities such as Dark Burst and Falcon's Eye have been rebalanced. No more one-shotting enemies unfairly. Even bow mechanics like charged shots and arrow releases are now smoother and more responsive. The patch 1.02 also addresses a wide range of issues that were breaking quests or blocking progression. Some players were getting stuck, unable to interact with characters or complete objectives. These problems are now fixed across many story and side missions. The open world in Assassin's Creed Shadows also got some love too. Several synchronization points have been fixed. Snowy weather now actually shows snow in the winter, and the annoying issue of falling through the world or getting stuck in objects has been reduced. Other changes also include loot chest fixes in locations like Sakamoto Castle and Hijiyami Fort. The photo mode has also got patched. No more weird lines appearing in photos or error codes when viewing new images. Overall, patch 1.02 for Assassin's Creed Shadows is one of the most substantial upgrades so far. It doesn't just fix a few things here and there, it genuinely enhances the experience for everybody, especially those playing on the PS5 Pro and want to see ray tracing in its fullest on consoles and want to experience smoother frame rates in the game. And this game really does show it off with the new upgrade. From better combat flow and stealth mechanics to smoother UI and quest progression, it's a welcome step forward for the game. As I mentioned earlier, the full list of updates for this patch are available in the description via a link. If you want to take a look at that, it's quite substantial, so take your time, have a read through. But let me know how you get on with all these updates, and let's move on to some more exciting stuff. So it's April the 9th, and Sony is supposed to be rolling out a pretty significant update for the PlayStation Portal. This update is aimed mainly at users who are part of the PS Plus premium subscription, especially those taking part in the ongoing cloud streaming beta. While the service was already a handy feature, these new improvements are designed to make the experience smoother and more functional overall. First up, Sony has introduced a new sorting system for your game library, which means it will now be easier to organize and find the titles that you want to stream. Until now, browsing through a long list of games could be a bit of a pain, so this is a welcome change. Another big feature is the ability to capture your gameplay. You can now use the Create button on the portal to take screenshots or record gameplay videos when you're streaming from the cloud, something that wasn't previously available. A queuing system has also been added. This means if the servers are full when you try to connect to a game, you won't just be kicked back to the home screen. Instead, you'll be placed in a queue and shown an estimated wait time, which is a small but meaningful change in terms of user experience. You'll also now have the option to pause your cloud streamed games through the quick menu. Although keep in mind, this doesn't apply to online multiplayer titles for obvious reasons. Another addition is a notification system that kicks in if you've been idle for too long. If you step away and leave your game running, you'll get a warning before the session is shut down, which helps free up server space for others and keeps things running efficiently. And finally, when you're done streaming, you'll now be prompted with a quick feedback form. This is likely to help Sony improve the service further based on real user input. Overall, these changes really round out the cloud gaming experience on the portal. The fact that you can now stream PS5 games directly from Sony's servers, even if you don't own a PS5, continues to make the service and this PS Portal really stand out. All you need is a PS Plus premium subscription and a solid internet connection to get yourself started. So tell me, those of you that have a Portal, are these quality of life updates to the PS Portal worth it for you? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's move on. So Days Gone has got a fantastic update, and this Hordes mode sounds absolutely insane. The upcoming Days Gone Remastered for PS5 is not just a visual upgrade of the original, it's also packing in new content that pushes the hardware much further than what we saw on the PS4. One of the standout features from the original game was its Horde system. Back on the PS4, it was already pretty impressive. Hundreds of zombies could swarm you at once, creating an intense survival scenario, but the remaster steps that up in a massive way. The remaster introduces a brand new game mode called Horde Assault. This mode is all about survival. You'll face larger groups of zombies, and the longer you stay alive, the harder it gets. You'll also be able to choose from different playable characters, each with their own unique skills and abilities, and earn upgrades over time. The scoring is a big part of this mode too. The idea is to rack up a high score by surviving as long as possible and taking out as many enemies as you can. But there is a twist. Certain modifiers can make things easier or more chaotic, and using them will affect your final score. For example, one modifier is called Exploding Freakers, and it adds exploding enemies into the mix, but it will also cut your final score by 15%. Along with the Horde mode, the remaster includes other upgrades to the main game, including a permadeath mode for those of you who are crazy enough and want a real big challenge in the game. The game launches next week on April the 25th. Are you getting the Days Gone remaster? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's move on to some more good news. Sony is quietly expanding how much you can personalize your PlayStation console. A recent update adds new background themes for several major games, including Days Gone, Demon's Souls, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and many more. But right now, these backgrounds are not available to everybody. They are expected to roll out more broadly over the next few months. Now, these backgrounds are tied to the PlayStation Welcome Hub, a feature introduced last year. The hub is the first thing you will see when turning on your console, and it lets you customize widgets like messages, alerts, and controller battery indicators. Until recently, customization options on PlayStation 5 were pretty limited compared to older consoles, but it looks like that's slowly changing. Sony is also revisiting some nostalgic themes it offered during PlayStation's 30th anniversary celebration, Last year, they released a batch of limited time themes based on the PS1, PS2, PS3, and PS4, including the classic PS1 boot up animation. These were incredibly popular amongst the PlayStation community, especially those who can remember the original PlayStation. And although they were originally temporary, Sony has confirmed that they are making a return at some point in the near future. And according to a post from the official PlayStation account, the company is working behind the scenes to bring back those commemorative themes thanks to strong fan response. I mean, really, how long can it take to switch these back on? Surely it's just a bit of code at the back. I'm no programmer. I'm not Mark Cerny, Mark II, am I? But surely it cannot take months and months to switch on the themes that they already have. So if there's a tech guy who's listening to this, drop your thoughts in the comments. So while there is no exact timeline yet, it is clear that Sony is paying attention to the community's desire for more personalization features. It's about time Sony allowed us to have some customizable options for the PlayStation home screen. Finally, they listened to us. It's just taken 5 years, that's all. Anyway, let's move on. Microsoft has confirmed that its big Xbox showcase is happening on June the 8th, 2025. This digital-only event will feature a mix of titles from Xbox's first-party studios, as well as new announcements from third-party developers from around the world. As with previous years, the showcase is expected to highlight a lot of what's coming to Xbox platforms, but thanks to Microsoft's new third-party approach, by releasing games across multiple platforms, quite a few of these games will probably be coming to the PlayStation 5. The main event will kick off at 6 PM British Summer Time, 10 AM PDT and 1 PM EDT. Right after that, there'll be a deeper look into The Outer Worlds 2, which is Obsidian's upcoming sci-fi RPG. The follow-up to the original critically acclaimed game is already confirmed for the PS5, and during the segment, we'll get fresh gameplay footage, behind-the-scenes info, and insight from the developers themselves. Phil Spencer, the head of Microsoft Gaming, has said that moving forward, their showcases will clearly state which platforms each game will launch on. So don't be surprised if you see the PlayStation logo pop up during the show, especially for games that might traditionally have been Xbox exclusive. As always, these showcases are full of some surprises, with the industry increasingly leaning towards a shared ecosystem and broader audiences. There's a good chance PS5 players will walk away with a few titles to look forward to as well. Oh well, if PlayStation doesn't lay on a showcase, at least we can look forward to seeing new games at the Xbox event coming to PlayStation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below about the topics discussed in the video today. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.